Ezekiel 43 to 45. Afterward he brought me to the gate that looks toward the east. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel came from the way of the east, and his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. It was like to the appearance of the vision which I saw, like the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city, and the visions were like the vision that I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell on my face. And the glory of Yahweh came into the house of the way of the gate, which faces toward the east. The Ruach took me up, and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of Yahweh filled the house. I heard one speaking to me out of the house, and a man stood by me. He said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell among the sons of Israel forever. The house of Israel will no more profane my holy name, neither they nor their kings, by their prostitution and by the dead bodies of their kings in the high places. Whenever they place their threshold next to my threshold, and their doorpost beside my doorpost, with only a wall between me and them, they defiled my holy name by their abominations that they committed. So I have consumed them in my anger. Now let them put away their prostitution, and the dead bodies of their kings far from me, and I will dwell among them forever. You, son of man, describe the house of Israel to the house of Israel, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and let them measure the pattern. And if they are ashamed of all that they have done, make known to them the design of the house and its arrangement, its exits and its entrances, its complete design, and all its ordinances, and its form and all its Torah, and write it in their sight, that they may keep the whole form of it, and all of its ordinances, and do them. This is the Torah of the house. And the top of the mountain, the whole limit around it, shall be most holy. Behold, this is the Torah of the house. These are the measurements of the altar by cubits. The cubit is a cubit and a hand width. The bottom shall be a cubit, and the width a cubit, its border around its edge a span. And this shall be the base of the altar, from the bottom on the ground. On the lower ledge shall be 2 cubits, and the width 1 cubit. And from the lesser ledge to the greater ledge shall be 4 cubits, and the width of a cubit. The upper altar shall be 4 cubits, and from the altar hearth and upward there shall be 4 horns. The altar hearth shall be 12 cubits long by 12 wide, square in its 4 sides. The ledge shall be 14 cubits long by 14 wide in its 4 sides, and the border about it shall be a half a cubit, and its bottom shall be a cubit around, and its steps shall look toward the east. Then he said to me, Son of man, this is what Adonai Yahweh says. These are the ordinances of the altar in the day which they make it, to offer burnt offerings on it, and to sprinkle blood on it. You shall give to the Levitical Kohanim, who are the offspring of Zadok, who are near to me to minister to me, says Adonai Yahweh, a young bull for a sin offering. You shall take of it its blood, and put on it its 4 horns, and on the 4 corners of the ledge, and on the border all around. You shall cleanse it, and make atonement for in that way. You shall also take the bull of the sin offering, and it shall be burnt in the appointed place of the house, outside of the sanctuary. And on the 2nd day you shall offer a male goat, without blemish, for a sin offering, and they shall cleanse the altar, as they cleansed it with the bull. When you have finished cleansing it, you shall offer a young bull without blemish, and a ram out of the flock without blemish. You shall bring them near to Yahweh, and the Kohanim shall cast salt on them, and they shall offer them up for a burnt offering to Yahweh. 7 days you shall prepare every day a goat for a sin offering. They shall also prepare a young bull and a ram out of the flock without blemish. 7 days shall they make atonement for the altar and purify it, so they consecrate it. When these days are expired, it shall be on the 8th day and onward. The Kohanim shall make your burnt offerings on the altar, and your peace offerings I will accept you, says Adonai Yahweh. Then he brought me back to the way of the outer gate of the sanctuary which looks towards the east, and it was shut. And Yahweh said to me, This gate shall be shut, it shall not be opened. No man shall enter in by it, for Yahweh the God of Israel has entered in by it, therefore it shall be shut. As for the prince, he shall sit in it as prince to eat bread before Yahweh. He shall enter by the way of the porch of the gate, and shall go out the same way. Then he brought me to the way of the north gate before the house, and I looked, and behold, the glory of Yahweh filled the house of Yahweh, and I fell on my face. And Yahweh said to me, Son of man, mark well, and see with your eyes, and hear with your ears all that I tell you concerning the ordinance of the house of Yahweh, and all its Torah. And mark well the entrance of the house, with every exit of the sanctuary. You shall tell the rebellious to the house of Israel. This is what Adonai Yahweh says. The house of Israel, let that be enough of all your abominations, in that you have brought in foreigners, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to profane it, even my house. When you offer my bread and fat and blood, and they have broken my covenant, to add to all your abominations, you have not performed the duty of my holy things, but you have set performers on my duty in my sanctuary for yourselves. This is what Adonai Yahweh says. No foreigner, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary of any foreigners who are among the sons of Israel, but the Levites, who are far from me, when Israel went astray, who went astray from me after their idols. They will bear their iniquity, yet they shall be ministers in my sanctuary, having oversight at the gates of the house, and ministering in the house. They shall slaughter the burnt offerings and the sacrifice of the people, and they shall stand before them to minister to them, because they ministered to them before their idols and became stumbling block of iniquity to the house of Israel. Therefore I have lifted up my hand against them, says Adonai Yahweh, and they will bear their iniquity. They shall not come near to me to execute the office of Kohen to me, nor to come near to any of my holy things, to the things that are most holy, but they will bear their shame and their abomination which they have committed. Yet I will make them performers of the duty of the house for all its service, and for all that will be done therein. But the Levitical Kohanim, the sons of Zodok, who perform the duty of my sanctuary when the sons of Israel went astray from me, shall come near to me to minister to me. They shall stand before me to offer to me the fat and the blood, says Adonai Yahweh. They shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister to me, and they shall keep my instruction. It will be that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments. No wool shall come on them while they minister in the gates of the inner court and within. They shall have linen turbans on their heads. They shall have linen trousers on their waists. They shall not clothe themselves with anything that makes them sweat. When they go out into the outer court, even into the outer court to the people, they shall put off their garments in which they minister, and lay them in the holy rooms. They shall put on their outer garments, that they not sanctify the people with their garments. They shall not shave their heads or allow their locks to grow long. They shall only cut off the hair of their heads. None of the Kohanim shall drink wine when they enter into the inner court. They shall not take for their wives a widow, or her who is put away, but they shall take virgins of the offspring of the house of Israel, or a widow who is the widow of a Kohen. They shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the common, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. In a controversy thou shalt stand to judge. They shall judge it according to my ordinances, and they shall keep my laws and my statutes in all my appointed feasts, and they shall make my Shabbats holy. They shall come near to dead person to defile. They shall come near no dead person to defile themselves, but for father or for mother or son or daughter or brother or sister who had no husband, they shall defile themselves. After he is cleansed, they shall reckon him 7 days. In the day he goes into the sanctuary, into the inner court, the minister of the sanctuary, he shall offer his sin offering, says Adonai Yahweh. And it shall be to them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance. And you shall give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession. They shall eat the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, and every devoted thing Israel shall be theirs. The first of all, the first fruits of every kind, and everything offered of all your heave offerings shall be for the Kohen. You shall also give to the Kohanim the first of your dough, to cause a blessing to rest on your house. The Kohanim shall not eat of anything that dies of itself or is torn, whether it is bird or animal. Moreover, when you divide the lot of land inheritance, you shall offer an offering to Yahweh, a holy portion of the land. The length shall be the length of 25,000 reeds, and the width shall be 10,000. It shall be holy on all its borders all around. And this shall be 500 by 500 square for the holy place, and 50 cubits on its pasture lands all around. Of this measure you shall measure a length of 25,000, and the width 10,000. In it shall be the sanctuary which is most holy. It is a holy portion of the land. It shall be for the Kohanim, the ministers of the sanctuary, who come near to minister to Yahweh. It shall be a place for their houses, and a holy place for the sanctuary. 20,000 in length and 10,000 in width shall be for the Levites, the ministers of the house, as a possession for themselves. For 20 rooms you shall appoint the possession of the 5 cities of the city, 5,000 wide and 25,000 long, side by side, with the offering the holy portion. It shall be for the whole house of Israel. What is for the prince shall be on the one side, and on the other side of the holy offering of the possessions of the city, in front of the holy offering, in front of the possession of the city, the west side westward, and on the east side eastward, and its length answerable to one of the portions, from the west border to the east border. In the land it shall be to him for a possession in Israel. And my princes shall no more oppress my people, but they shall give the land of the house of Israel according to their tribes. This is what Adonai Yahweh says. Let it be enough for you, O princes of Israel. Remove violence and plunder, and execute justice and righteousness, dispossessing my people, says Adonai Yahweh. You shall have just balances, a just ephah, and a just bath. The ephah and the bath shall be one measure, and the bath may contain 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah 1/10 of a homer. Its measure shall be the same as a homer. The shekel shall be 20 gerahs. 20 shekels plus 25 shekels plus 15 shekels shall be your mina. This is the offering that you shall offer. The 6th part of the ephah from a homer of wheat you shall give. The 6th part of the ephah for a homer of barley, and a set portion of oil. Of the bath of oil, 1/10 of the bath out of the core, which is 10 baths, even a homer. For 10 baths are a homer, and 1 lamb of the flock out of 200 from the well-watered pastures of Israel, for a grain offering, for a burnt offering, and for a peace offering, to make atonement for them. Says Adonai Yahweh, all the people of the land shall give to this offering for the prince of Israel. It shall be for the prince's part to give the burnt offering, the grain offering, and the drink offering, and the feast, and on the Rosh Chodesh, and on the Shabbats, and all the appointed feasts of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering, the grain offering, the burnt offering, the peace offering, to make atonement for the house of Israel. This is what Adonai Yahweh says. In the 1st month of the 1st day of the month, you shall take a young bull without blemish, and you shall cleanse the sanctuary. The Kohen shall take of the blood of the sin offering, and put it on the doorpost of the house, and on the 4 corners of the ledge of the altar, on the post of the gate of the inner court. You shall do on the 7th day of the month everyone who errs, and for him who is simple, you shall make atonement for the house. In the 1st month of the 14th day of the month, you shall have Pesach, a feast of 7 days. Matzah shall be eaten. On that day the prince shall perform for himself and for all the people of the land a bull of sin offering. The 7 days of the feast shall be prepared for a burnt offering to Yahweh, 7 bulls, 7 rams without blemish. On each of the 7 days a male goat daily for a sin offering. He shall prepare a grain offering, an ephah for a bull, and an ephah for a ram, and a hin of oil for an ephah. In the 11th month, on the 15th day of the month, in the feast he shall do like for the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, according to the grain offering, according to the oil.